Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And day one of the CDL Stage 1 Major has concluded. 2 teams have left us from the tournament. I suppose the 2 teams we expected to, but still certainly some storylines in this one given where these teams were touted to be before the season began to where they've ended up at the end of the Major and what potential changes could these teams make going forwards. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Let's get into things then. So this was the bracket. The 2 games we had today were the first round elimination bracket here, or the first round elimination matches here in the elimination bracket. That was Seattle Surge Mutineers and Toronto Ultra versus the London Royal Ravens. Interestingly, before things even kicked off, just wanted to mention this real quick if you want to see a new tournament hub available on the BreakingPoint.gg website. There were some issues today with the Tableau thing that we pulled some of the stats from for the player stats and stuff, so apologies if you guys went on the website and that was broken, but that will be fixed in due course. But before everything even kicked off, Royal Ravens came out and said due to some really unfortunate personal family matters, Alex is travelling back to the UK, leaving, of course, the team without their 4th player. I mean, this team has obviously had a really difficult time, right? I mean, hopefully everything works out with Alex's family and the difficulties they are having, and, well, everything works out for the best. But, of course, they've had such a tough time. They didn't want to have Parasite in the team. Ideally, they would have had Zero in the squad. That couldn't happen. They then brought on Afro as a substitute. Neither of those guys have been able to get out to the States. They had to bring Parasite into the team, and now they need the last-minute substitution from Zed, of which some of these guys have played on before. Yeah, Reciprocity, for example, the Uni Lads, those types of teams in the past. So Zed comes into the squad with basically 0 practice at all. Apparently Shane said that they had like 15 minutes of practice before their series, and they keep this one really close. Like, you can make a good case that they actually should have won this series despite the limited practice that they had, which definitely shows to me that Toronto Ultra are not so well where we expected them to be. They do move on in the tournament though, so maybe they'll be able to have a better result in their next round matchup. But right here, game number 1, CleanX goes off here on Garrison Hardpoint, 251-42. Doesn't really look like Royal Ravens put up too much of a fight, but going into the game 2 though, they actually do put up a relatively good performance. You can see the slaying though here out of the Toronto Ultra was just far and away above and beyond what the Royal Ravens could deal with. Toronto was stat padding it, and Marcat says right here. But then we go into the search and destroy, and actually Royal Ravens look pretty good here. They win a map despite having basically 0 practice at all. Dylan actually looked really good. We've been asking a lot of questions. What do London do to improve, right? Because Shawnee certainly had his moments. Alex hasn't exactly been great, but of course, you know, he's had to step away, go back to the UK for we don't really know how long at this point. So okay, you know, Dylan has been the real question mark, right? Like, so good in Black Ops 4. Why hasn't he been at the level that we expected him to be at? But he's making absolute plays right here, popping this nice little 3-piece on their way to actually winning this map number 2. And well, they're closing out, as Crone says. Ravens won a map with less than a day's worth of practice. And Shane, their coach, says, look, we had 15 minutes practice to be precise, and they're still winning a map against the Ultra. We then go into the game 3, and this was absolutely not close by any means. Ultra just completely dominate the raid controller, take it to a game 4, and it seems like they're probably going to close it out on Moscow, given the fact that, you know, new teams did respawn. Often in Search and Destroy, you can kind of play it like a game battles tournament or whatever, where you kind of just play things individually and hope it works out for the best. So you can kind of see that a new team in Search and Destroy can, well, have greater success maybe than the, you know, more chemistry and team play that is required in the respawns. But going into the game 4, they actually do a very good job right here. I mean, Methods bounces back in game 3, just wanted to point this out, 24 in 7. I mean, remarkable map 3 from him. But then we go into the game 4, and London push it all the way to the distance. I mean, this was a crazy map. Honestly, some really disciplined rotations at times. They had a massive advantage. They just managed to break into this final hardpoint and close out the game 250-202. Then we go into a Moscow Search and Destroy, and it looked like, honestly, that they were going to close this one out. Bance had a pretty unfortunate round early on. They go down 2-0. Honestly, they could have gone up 4-0. There were a couple of rounds that didn't go their way, which you could argue they should have done, and well, Toronto managed to bring it back, end up taking this game down in the end. And as Octane says, wow, London could not have thrown that map any more than they did, and well, they end up closing out the series. So Toronto Ultra win it in a 3-2 fashion. They move on in the tourney as expected, especially given the whole situation with London making a substitute just hours before their series kicks off. So yeah, lots of things to be gleaned away from this for multiple teams. London definitely need to figure something out. What is the solution here? Is Parasite the solution? He's been playing okay, but far from spectacular. Yeah, they haven't had the best time of things. If Zed is still an opportunity for the team, he did tweet out afterwards the fact that he doesn't believe he'll be competing on this team going forwards, that they'll try and figure something else out, you would imagine, but he was pretty much a last-minute substitution for these guys given the difficult situation they had. At the same time, Toronto may continue their run, but they certainly haven't looked quite the team that was a championship contender right to the end of Call of Duty Modern Warfare when Classic was on the team and his new team, Paris Legion. I believe they might be facing facing them in the next round, or certainly that's a possibility. We'll have a look here in just a second. Mutineers tweet this out, the Major's first victim, that being the Royal Ravens, potentially indicating, of course, these types of things may give you bad juju when you play your game later on in the day, and it also may come back to bite you. But yeah, let's go into that series just about now. This I thought was also interesting though, before we get into that Waskin says supposedly he feels somewhat screwed over by the Royal Ravens that dropped him at the end of last season, and as he says right here, restart London and get me over pronto on a free, like I'll play for free for you guys, a free transfer, sick of this losing, and I wouldn't mind giving Scrappy, of course, over on the Paris Legion, the Gunny, a few times. So Waskin saying, look, your roster's awful, just get them out of the way, get me in the team like I should have been all along, you shouldn't have got rid of me last time around. So yeah, pretty firing words from Waskin. Scraps comes back in the reply, of course, I've been promoted, supposedly he's going to be using the XM4 now, maybe an even more deadly force over on that Paris Legion squad for their losers bracket run. As Parasite says, wish we had more time to prepare prior to the league start, let alone we're playing with a new force, so difficult situation. But yeah, we'll have to see what going on going forwards, because I'm sure a number of these teams are considering roster changes right now, especially the two teams that have been, well, solidified themselves in the 11th through 12th place at this major. The second of the two we're going to go through right about now. So Seattle Surge versus Florida Mutineers for the second series of the day. Both of these teams have looked somewhat underwhelming, especially Florida, based on the form we expected them to have coming into the season, but Mutineers did look pretty good. Map number 1 was absolute chaos. This is probably the scrappiest hardpoint I've seen in such a long time. Both teams, not like they had no idea what they were doing, but they couldn't hold a spawn to save their lives. The breaks would come in all over the map, honestly. And as you can see right here, like, no team is really getting too many points on each individual hardpoint. Seattle make a pretty massive comeback, to be fair, and just about get pipped to the post on that final P3. Like, they really could have had that. They had the spawns, but they let one break go in Florida Mutineers' favour, and they close out the map 252-35. Then we go into the search and destroy. This was a pretty remarkable one. As you can see, Octane right here leads a comeback, but it doesn't quite come off. Then we go into the game 2, checkmate search and destroy, and Seattle looks pretty good on this one. Once again, Mutineers not really doing much in search and destroy. Awakening didn't have like his incredibly hot map that he tends to have over here, and then that meant that they had a very difficult time. But Neptune clutched an incredible, effectively a 1v4, technically a 1 versus 3 ace, but the kill he got, like the first kill he got, wasn't trading out his teammate's death, and therefore, you can certainly argue that it was actually a 1v4 in theory. And as you can see right here, he hops on the bomb. Prestinni, all he really has to do, Prestinni, is just wait half a second longer, and there's no way you can ever lose this round. But for some reason he challenges, like there's no way Neptune can defuse the bomb quite in time. He literally just had to wait half a second, and Neptune doesn't win this one, but he does. They go all the way to around 11, and Seattle Surge just about closed it up. Honestly, that was almost an incredible choke. Incredible stuff from Neptune, right? Already in the last couple of days, we have seen 2 1v4s effectively from Methods, and now from Neptune. Yeah, definitely 4 versus 4 COD. It is so much fun to watch, and fair play for Neptune for pulling this one off, because they've needed some inspiration in the search and destroy. It doesn't happen though. They do end up losing this map, but then they go into the control, and this is where the other superstars on the team actually take over. This from Awakening was just outrageous. He went on a ridiculous streak at the start of this control here on Garrison, winning a crucial defense for the guys over at the Mutineers. Then on the offense, he was also just completely gunning people. They close this out in a 3-0 fashion, and honestly, Seattle could not get close to the slaying power that Mutineers finally bring to the table. They don't seem to put it all together at the same point. It's very much inconsistent in what these guys pull together on the table, but certainly Awakening is just a marvellous player to watch at times. And well, I mean, look at this turn on he gets right here on Octane. Obviously, he was one shot, but still, yeah, just putting up these sort of numbers was pretty spectacular. They take that one out, and as I say right here, 0.61 KD from Seattle is just not enough. All the red in the, well, in the scoreboard right here over at breakingpoint.gg, not exactly what you want to see. Awakening goes 20-7 to finish off this map, and I thought I mentioned this as well. Miles mentioned on stream about Surge predicting them to win the control. I think the way he said it, it wasn't quite clear, but effectively, as he says right here, it was he had predicted that Seattle would have won. I predicted Florida Mutineers would win. So just to clear that up, if you guys thought I was predicting Seattle to win the control, that was not indeed the case. And well, then we go into the final map of the series, and this is finally where Skies just completely takes over a game. We've been looking for this for quite some time now, right, where Skies will actually have a great performance in a map. We haven't really seen it so far, but over at this P1, Skies completely dominates, like starts off the map 11-0. My name is Caesar Skies Bueno, and I choose to start the match 11-0, says Crone. And well, he was not slowing down from here. I think he finished the game 20 or 32-13. I think that matches the scoreline that Simp put up the other day, and I'm pretty sure maybe I said at the time that something like that isn't going to be matched for quite some time. But oh well, Skies manages to do it right here on a 5-kill streak to start, and then finishes off 11-0. I mean, this guy absolutely cannot be stopped over here. And oh well, that definitely gave the team the momentum they needed to close out this series. GG Seattle 1-3-1. It went rogue in P1. I could not be stopped after that. And oh well, that means that Seattle Surge, the second team to drop out of this situation for the major. Now, London expected, of course, they just made this last minute change. They haven't really been that good anyway. But Seattle, we looked at them coming into the season. Is this a significant improvement of last time around? rounds. When we did our power rankings early on, I kind of said, okay, they're probably 11th, 12th, to be honest. And well, it seems like they are in that ballpark, right? That's where they place right here. So yeah, a lot of questions. Mutineers talking a bit of trash. Hop in at Seattle Surge to the coffin right here. And well, they are out of the tournament. And what should they do going forward, right? What is the solution? None of the guys on the team have really looked particularly spectacular. Slack says that feels good, of course, because he was on the Seattle Surge last season. Now he gets one up over them this time around. And as you can see right here, these are the final series standings. Skies and Awakening combined for plus 37. But you look over on the side of the Seattle Surge, Loony actually has a pretty good series, especially in the Search and Destroy. Wanted to shout him out, he played very well. But then yeah, Prestinni actually has the best series statistically, and it's Octane and Gunless, the two like superstar firepower, you know, in theory, they're going to be gunning and getting the big KDs like Skies and Awakening did right here. It doesn't happen, right? So what is the solution for this team? Is there even a good solution? You know, is Octane just waiting to try and get onto LA Thieves next season? That's an argument you can make. Maybe something we'll talk about in coming days, because certainly some of these teams, especially Seattle or Florida, whoever really lost today, there's discussions as to what their roster's looking like into stage 2. Will it stay the same? You know, I'm not exactly sure that it certainly will, with a lot of amateur talent out there ready to jump into the Pro League. Just to finish off then, these are the series results of the day. That means that Legion play the Mutineers, so actually they're not going to be playing the Ultras, I think I talked about earlier, but Legion play Mutineers, Rokkr play the Ultra tomorrow, and then the other matches of tomorrow, very interestingly, we'll talk about it tomorrow morning, OpTic Subliners, Los Angeles Thieves Gorillas. There's 4 matches on the day. It's going to be a late one for me, but I hope you guys enjoy the content regardless. Enjoy to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
From behind now, making his way forward. It's going to be 2 for Neptune as well. And just like that, it's a 1v2 with the bomb down. What a flurry of action. So he saw it.
Grinding search for moments like this. You gotta let him work, make the plays. He's got some time. Loony obviously knows where he's at. And you can see Prestinni just watching the cross, but he's able to get in the plane. Still an opportunity for the clutch.
Do you know the timing could be great? Makes a lot of noise though. Loony might peek this. He's feeling himself there. The shoulders, throws the shoulders, throws the shots. Neptune finally gets the kill. It's a 1v1, 12 seconds on the clock. Neptune's going to be straight in the bomb. The tag's going to land through. Prestinni on the slide. Oh, wait a minute!
He got it!
He got it! Neptune,
no, he did it! Let's go!
Wait, did he? Wait! Oh,
bang!
My word, Neptune, what a round!
He has been grinding S&D.